Sorry about that. Welcome to another episode of the Samuel Vega podcast. This is episode 7, and it's just going to be titled Gambling is the New Cigarettes. Look out. And, let's get started. So, I've been getting nothing but Polymarket and Kalshi ads for the last few months, and it's gotten to the point where it's so unhealthy. Like, I think I see one every 30 seconds the longer that I stay on my phone. And I think it's better to speak about why gambling is becoming so important and such a huge, I guess, cultural shift with like the DraftKings and the sports bets. And, you have ping pong happening in Russia, somebody's going to be gambling on it. It's because it's a way to, I guess, be so invested into something that it works similar to a lottery ticket, but it allows us to play this game that we know what's going on a little bit more. And my understanding is that it's not going to go anywhere, but kind of like, cigarette smoke or kind of these ideas that we have about the whole medium is that it's never me until it is me, and then once it's me, it's an identity thing. Like, most people who don't smoke cigarettes have the same opinions about cigarettes. Like, oh yeah, they're gross, or oh yeah, no, I would never. Not in a million years, my life would have to be thrown into the mix. But the people who do chain smoke kind of have accepted that reality as there is no way around it. Like, it's very hard for people to quit. And it's also one of those things where now you can only be around other smokers. Gambling is going to work the same way. I played baseball in college, and I had a lot of teammates who had very obvious gambling addictions, but like you don't really see it as an addiction when it's just like you're hanging out, you're watching the basketball game, and then like the dude right next to you is sitting and he's watching, he's like, I'm like, Dave, you fine? He's like, yeah, no, it's cool, bro, it's cool, and that's fine, that's fine. I'm like, it's not even a close game. It's maybe like 60-39 in the fourth quarter. It's a weird blowout. Nobody's scoring, and like, he's more invested than you would be watching the Super Bowl. Like that's how. I don't know what to do about it. I don't know what's gonna happen with it, but it was one of those places where, it would go from watching the game to, all right, now we're in stretches, now we're working out, and we're talking about the overs or the covers for, certain athletes or certain players. And as a fan, as a person who knows ball, you want to be able to say, you think you know what's going to happen, but for the sake of the love of the game, like, oh yeah, the Braves are going to win, or yeah, the Chiefs are going to lose. Like, you want to have that conversation starter. But in the way that we've monetized so many different things, that's no longer a conversation starter. It's like, all right, put your money where your mouth is at all times. Don't enjoy anything unless you're making money. Get off, like, don't be broke. Be cool and make a lot of money being right. And, these companies, they make a lot of money off of that sense of ego, off that sense of, like, larger than life mentality when it comes to predicting things you have literally no control over. And then it gives way for people who, have the ability to change these outcomes to then kind of skew in their favor. Like, there was a whole gambling ring that got exposed, I think, with Chauncey Billups and a couple other basketball players, maybe if not last year, the year before last, because they wanted to scare a lot of people into like insider trading. Like, don't have an insider trade. We don't think that's a good idea, right? And even now, I think, who is it? Maybe De'Aaron Fox. There's more basketballs. You can Google it now. Basketball players, I mean, who are kind of in these huge RICO cases for, fixing games. And it's kind of not their fault entirely. I'm not saying that, like, you shouldn't cheat. Um, I'm not saying you should cheat. I'm saying that you've put them in a position to where money is kind of like the common denominator in what they're speaking. I mean, a lot of people, they play sports at a very high level, yes, because they like the game, but also because it's a way to make a lot of money. That's what like sports academies are for. That's what, training academies are for. That's what a lot of the infrastructure for these systems are for. So you can't really be mad at the player for then kind of getting surrounded by the people who uplifted them to get to that situation. And now those people are looking at them like, hey, bro, I need you to score 12 points and then get less than 4 rebounds tonight. You love me, right? Like, that's kind of the conversation that's going on. And, like, it's so colluded, it's so prominent that it's just like really a cancer inside of sports right now, and there's no real way to get it out. You ruined it once you started giving people money in the NIL stuff, and then we opened up the sports books, and they put sports books on people's phones, and now we attack players. I mean, Jaylen Brown's a good example for he'll speak publicly about how, like, it went from just like regular fan interaction to now you're getting that death threats for a random Thursday game because you accidentally scored more than your projected 22 points. Or even if it's not basketball, if it's football, instead of looking at, college games for the sake of, representing your alma mater, it's like, all right, now I'm bullying this 19-year-old because they're the reason that I lost $3,000, and now I'm gonna have to take out a second mortgage on the house. I'm gonna have to take out a loan just to cover this bet that I made. And it's one of those things where it's marketed in such a healthy way, in such a way that, like, oh yeah, it'll get you back into the game and it'll be really fun for you to, like, be even more invested into your Saturday game and your Saturday fun with all your friends. In the same way we did with cigarettes back in the 60s. Like, oh yeah, have a smoke after your run because it'll, like, help your lungs get stronger. Like, I think we forget about the patterns within our society so much because it's just so hard to keep up that I think a lot of people are going to kind of get swept up in it. And it's different than going to school and learning about, the NASDAQ and your SP 500 and recognizing certain trends in your global economy, and then taking that global economy information that you have and then saying, okay, I'm going to put $45 into a Roth IRA, or I'm going to put $25 into a energy stock that I saw that is being given reimbursements for government funding because you know how to read Yahoo Finance. Like, that's just what those classes are for, right? It's different when it's like, all right, I saw Lamar Jackson highlights on my TikTok, and now I think he's going to win the Super Bowl. So I'm going to put $6,000 on it because that seems like a good financial decision. Or not even good, but my only financial decision to be made to kind of change my life and change the trajectory of my everyday. And you become the method. You become the method in that way. And so there's no real way around that. I don't think there is. I think there are going to be a lot of people where it's like they're going to be functioning gambling addicts until we get maybe 5 or 6 or 10 years further down this road of, Polymarket, Kalshi, DraftKings, sports bets, Underdog, whatever. And I'm not, this isn't a paid sponsorship, but like, we're going to get further and further down that road, and you're going to see behavioral outliers that are repercussions of this being so normalized. So I think it's important to just take a second, take a stand, and at least recognize that, you will lose money gambling. I think, look at it in the same way that you look at going to see a fireworks show. expect it to go up in flames. If you don't, you're gonna be one of these people who watches the game and you're like, man, everything's scripted. I don't know why Messi didn't get his third hat trick. And I don't know. Speaking of, sports, the World Cup was on as well. And I think as a neutral watcher, it was an awesome experience getting to see Spain come out through the win because of just how cool it was for it to be in the United States. You go out to your public restaurants, you watch the game, and everybody's involved. Like that community building aspect, I think, is so refreshing, and it's kind of really needed for where we are right now. Like, I was on a train leaving a Kanye concert, and I got stuck on the train. It was supposed to be like a 3-hour train ride. It turned into an 11-hour train ride because we were coming back through Tampa, and I don't know what was going on, if they had to rebuild the train track while we were on it. But, we got to like maybe hour 5, hour 6. We start looking at each other. We're talking. I'm getting to learn everything about the person next to me. They're running me down a life story. And then, I had finished the book that I was reading, and we just had time. We had time. It was like everybody was stuck. There was nothing you could do except be in the moment, because I think the chargers weren't working because we had to turn off the electricity so that they could work on the train. Like, it was just, you're surrounded by a bunch of people with nothing to do. And then I'm walking up and down these cars trying to find a bathroom because all the bathroom doors are locked. And I kind of sit down and I start to lay down in these seats because it was 2 seats. And it was just like, hey, man, I need to kick my legs out for a second. And as I'm doing that, this guy comes up to me and he goes, Belgium's in penalties right now. And I'm like, what? And he's like, Belgium's in penalties. We got to go. And I'm like, I don't know what that means, man. And he's like, don't worry, I'm going to go get my laptop. And so he runs off to go get his laptop, brings it back, and he sets up the World Cup. And it's just me, this guy, and then maybe like 2 other people kind of hear the commotion. They walk up, they like over our shoulder a little bit. Now we're all just out in the aisle. And before you know it, it's about 10 to 15 people hovered around this guy's laptop in the back of one of these train cars. And we're all watching, just sitting. Everybody's like, how does your heart not explode? This is the biggest moment of their lives. And it was a crazy penalty. I think they were against Paraguay, if I remember. And it was such a back and forth game. Everybody's going back. We're high-fiving. We're screaming. We're making a whole commotion on this train. And then the craziest part is the train picks back up and takes off again. And then the Wi-Fi starts to cut in and out. And so it's lagging. And we're all just like, no, not now. This is the only thing that's going to get us through this 12-and-a-half-hour train debacle that we're stuck in, right? And luckily it holds through. We finished the game. It was a thriller. We're all laughing, smiling. The guy shakes my hand. He's like, hey, I'm Michael. I'm like, hey, Michael, I'm Sam. Nice to meet you, man. And then we all just kind of went off about into our own little... The camera's about to die. My bad. We all went off into our own little, seats again, never to be spoken. But, like, moments like that are everything. It was really cool. And I think gambling is going to take that away from us. Gambling is going to strip those moments from just being, like, able to watch something organically as a neutral party to see talent, to now it's going to be, people watching, because now it's life or death for a viewer. And the player doesn't care. The player's just doing whatever they're going to do. And I think now with that over looming in their head, and then they're the parties that they're responsible for. Like, they got a family they gotta take care of. They got friends and people they have to be mindful about. Like, it's just another theater to then, I guess, traffic this dirty money for something that, we pride ourselves in sports knowing that you can't touch the player. Like, it's a untouched space for everybody to then go chase greatness. And I don't think that's going to be the case anymore. So when I see, a guy scratching his neck and he's looking at me like, hey man, what do you think about the Bills this week? You think they're gonna win? And I'm like, yeah, I think the Bills should be good. I don't know a bunch about the Bills as a football team, but it goes from just like the conversation to money talk. And I think it'll be I think it'll be a really drastic change. It'll be really not cool. It'll be really interesting to see how it plays out. But if you can take anything away from me, don't gamble. Now, if I start selling you gambling ads, it's because I'm trying to get paid. But don't gamble. You'll lose probably. And yeah, try to be mindful about it, because I caught myself the other week. I was trying to watch it. What was it? I was trying to watch, I think it was another World Cup game. And as I'm like clicking to get to the stream account, I get like I'm like rated with like 9 to 10 different gambling sites. And so that's all I got for today. Go ahead and double check to make sure your phone is charging. Like and subscribe. I think I'm going to try to talk a little bit about the this new anime that came out. It's called The Supermarket, Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You. It's a pretty good romance anime. I just finished it the other day. It's on Crunchyroll. If you like to expand your horizons and always check new things out, put that on your list. I'll see you guys in the next one.